Jai Baba. Now, fresh news. First, about the fresh news. Yesterday, we had a visit to Satara. Not Satara, actually, the Urtare village, where Baba had met with an accident. Baba's car met with an accident, and that was on 2nd of December 1956. And on the 50th anniversary of that event, since 50th anniversary, that is from since 2006, we are every year going to that place to pay our homage to our beloved Baba, who has shed his blood for us, for all of us, for the entire humanity. In memory of that event, we go there, and yesterday, we had already announced, because of the corona, that we won't be having a organized program from the center, but some of the people are going there, and anybody who likes to go there, he can independently manage himself and go there. Even then, about 14 people from our center had come there, and Dr. Vasudev, who is every year who is helping us, and had very big plans to have that area developed. Some memorial he has in his mind to erect there, and that will take its own place, but in our own time. But then we had a beautiful, a very, very, very heart-touching time at that place. The villagers, every year, they install a pandal for us. We sit under the pandal, we sing Baba's bhajans, and then we offer our prayers, Parvadiyar prayers, repentance prayer, Aarti, and then we go close to that spot, which is supposed to have, which is supposed the place where Baba's car had made with an accident. There have been so many changes. The roads have been widened several times. There are service roads, there are main roads. They are going towards Satara, one road, coming to Pune, another road, and both ways there are service roads. So the accident spot has disappeared from our side, but then the area Dr. knows, and we also have several times sat there. There we offer our prayers, there we recite our prayers, and after this, we return to Pune. There was a query from my very dear friend, Meher Chanduri, that after the accident, Baba's accident in Satara, what you felt when you met him at that time after the accident. Now I had to recollect. Then in both the times, Baba's first accident took place in Oklahoma, and that was on 24th of May 1954. Am I correct?
52.
1952.
So that after that accident, Baba's leg was in a cast, and when he came to Pune, when he came to India, he paid a visit to Erach's house, Bindra House, the name of the house where Erich family was staying. That was Bindra House, and Baba's leg was in a cast, and he had called few of us for just for meeting him. That was the day on which K.K. Ramakrishnan had met Baba and was personally introduced to Baba. Before that, he had seen only Baba on the railway station. But then this was the time when K.K. Ramakrishna was introduced to Baba, and Baba was very happy to meet him because he was a very K.K. Ramakrishna was a very studious person, very capable of conducting programs. And when he asked Baba, when there was a question, K.K. Ramakrishna asked Baba that, Baba, now I have surrendered to you fully. Now what I am supposed to do? And Baba said, "Are you Are you thinking of becoming a sadhu, saint, muni, rishi? Have you that idea in your mind? Nothing doing. Eat, drink, and marry, and do my work as a pleasant hobby." That is advice Baba had given to him, and thereafter Ramakrishna started working for Baba. So that was the occasion on which, after the first accident, we had seen Baba's leg in cast. On the second accident, which took place in Satara on 2nd of December 1956, Baba's we saw Baba's. I saw, along with a few of the people in Nagar, Baba had come to Khushru quarters, and he was sitting with his leg in a cast, leg straightened, and he was sitting on bed. And few of us, some families, I went there along with 30 family, and with few of us, we met Baba. So both the times when Baba's leg was in cast, I had seen Baba, but then Baba recovered quite soon after his first accident. But then second accident in Satara proved to be very painful to Baba till Baba dropped his body. Because thereafter, whenever Baba used to come, I would also narrate one incident. And I was working in Mumbai then, and then there was an call from Baba, which was conveyed to me by K.K. Ramakrishnan. K.K. Ramakrishnan said that tomorrow we have to go to Guru Prasad. That is, there is a call from Baba. And I came from Mumbai. I stayed overnight in Mumbai. And then in the morning, along with so many people of Pune and Nagar and Mumbai, they had gathered in Guru Prasad. And everybody was made to sit against the wall. And Baba was not there. Baba's Mandali was there, but Baba was not there. All the people who had visited that Guru Prasad on both the sides, leaving a space in between for walking through. And on one side, on other side, and at some distance, ladies were there, and many people, the whole veranda was full, but not that rush. It was quite nicely organized queue. And what happened is, there was a surprise for us, because we did not know why we have been called to Guru Prasad. And everybody is all discussing with each other as to what is the reason for coming to Guru Prasad. Baba is not there. And then we were told, very secretly, we were told that Baba wants to show all his lovers as to how he walks after that accident, how he can walk after the effects or injuries of that accident, because doctors had declared that Baba would not be able to walk throughout his life. But then he was avatar. When we were watching the door of Baba's room, bending like this, we were watching, and Baba came all alone. Of course, some people were just walking behind, but Baba came all along without any support. He was limping little, but he came from there, his room, and taking a turn toward the door of the Mandali Hall. He entered the Mandali Hall, and the whole program was over. Within a minute's time, the whole program was over. Everybody was said that now it's all right. It's all over now. You can return to your house. Of course, that was a great event that Baba could walk, and we were happy when we were about at the door. Somebody came running to us. Myself, Madhusudan, Narayan Bandiru, of the Pune Bhajan Mandi people were there, and somebody came with a message. There is a message from Baba that Baba wants to know from us how he walks. And Madhusudan on our behalf said, "Excellent, Baba. Khub chan, very good, very good." And then we returned. So these are the incidents. One thing I just repeat that when the Baba had come to, Baba had come to Bindra house. That time, I had just freshly seen Baba in Mahabharata in 1951. That was when I was alone called to Mahabharata. So after that 52, Baba's accident took place, and Baba was sitting in Bindra house with his leg in cast. And when I approached Baba to pay my respects, Baba and reminded me whether all that I had told you in Mahabharata, whether you are following that. And I said, yes, Baba. And then Baba said, you have to create more love in your heart for me. Like this, you said, love me more, more, more. I was wondering why Baba says. Baba says so because according to me, I had accepted Baba in toto. I had accepted Baba in my life as the highest of the high. I had accepted Baba as the dearest one. And still Baba says that you on a typical gesture on his face, he says, create more love for me. I was wondering what more I am supposed to do. And then, of course, that was over there. But then in a course of time, I could understand what Baba meant by increasing that love. And today, at times, merely when the thoughts of Baba comes to my mind, I become very emotional, very, very emotional. Perhaps that was the love Baba wanted me to develop in my heart. Anyway, now this is all about that accident. Now we turn to
Just Pratap uncle, before we start,
yes,
I'll just share the photos of the like day before yesterday's visit. Yeah, I'm sharing the photos so that everybody can see.
Yes, please go.
Yeah, so I guess everybody can see now my screen.
The boy in the person in red is Prashant. Behind him is a villager whose father had seen that accident, and his father had helped the Mandali, helped the mandal here to Vishnu Master, who was not much injured. He helped Vishnu Master to put the injured mandali in the truck and send that truck to Rosewood. So that he is a very helpful person. And according to me, according to my thought, that perhaps Baba wants him to be a caretaker of that place. Tomorrow, when the place will be now, we have already purchased that land, some portion of the land, and there are plans being made to develop that place, whole place, so that people should know how Meher Baba had met with an accident, and who is Meher Baba. That is what the whole plan is. The person who is on harmonium is, of course, myself, and beyond Prashant is Surendra Thade from Pune. That last one, a girl, is my daughter, Meher Jyoti. The person standing behind is Dr. Rao Vasudev, who is from Andhra, but he has settled in Panchgani for years together. And he is so very popular and so very respected by whole Panchgani, that whenever doctor wants anything, they are ready to help him. So he arranges so many, every year he arranges for our this program. The boy on his back towards us is my last son, Swaroop, who plays tabla with me every time. So these are the people. Now this side, there are some other few people. This is Prashant. That is Swaroop, and on the other side, yes, on that side, you can see a Westerner. He is Brendan from London, I think. His leg was injured. His leg had swelling, and he was it was very difficult for him to walk. But even then, when Prashant asked him whether he would like to come, he said yes. And Prashant asked him, "What about your legs? It has swollen so much, and you are not able to walk." And very good answer he gave him, that when Meher Baba has suffered so much, what of my suffering? It is the thing before the suffering which Meher Baba had undergone. So this is all the program. We had a very nice field. Very nice feel, because that is what matters. And here is the place where the actual accident, actually car dashed against that small wall, parapet wall, and then it fell in the ditch, and everybody was injured. Here we had burned candles, and we had prayers. So this we should thank yes, the person who is sitting as Baba's side is nobody than Ganesh. And that small girl is from Thade family. The extreme left of us is Prashant's wife, Aarti. She is the daughter of Mr. Thade. So this was the group. Here is my brother's son, who takes very keen interest in all such programs. So this is a very small group, but very intimate group, and the feeling was really a wonderful feeling that we had there. In fact, not only me, but everybody said that it was a very strange feel, very exceptional feeling, very heart-touching time for us, all of us. So that we are still carrying in our hearts.
Yeah, over to you.
Now resuming where I had left last time. I will just take a small recap because I had described about how I got the news of Baba adopting his body. I was in Mumbai. My children were very sick. Particularly Prashant was very sick. Then with all my family, with my wife and 3 children, the last one was not yet born. The 3 children, we proceeded to Mehrabad in a special bogie which was arranged by Bombay Center. And when we reached there, we all were burst into tears. We could not hold our tears. In fact, it was a very hard time for us to compose ourselves. But then, after some time, I joined the singing group because people singing group for Pune had already arrived and they had taken the charge of singing, and I joined them. And of course, my wife and other also sat along with me. Prashant was a little bit separate, sitting all alone, and with a with a cloth on with a chadar or bed sheet on his legs because he had all that wounds from eczema. There's a one thing very special. He was quietly sitting there, not making any noise, just quietly sitting there. People were watching him in that condition. And one thing about him I would like to express is in our home at Mumbai also, whenever he is at home, of course he didn't go anywhere because it was not possible for to play with the children, for go out and move about here and there. So the whole day, he will be either sitting in a small corner or walk in the house itself. When most of the time he was sitting in a corner, and a very strange thing about him, a very special thing about him was that he never harassed us, in spite of the fact that he was undergoing so much of painful time, painful legs. But then he would never shout, he would never weep, he will never cry, he will never, demand anything. Just sit. If he finds any paper, he will just lift and just keep on reading that paper. So such was the condition. And then two things I would like to repeat is, just which I had left last time, is after Baba's body was placed in the Samadhi and it was covered with earth, then we all came to Pune. And Thade's mother, she was also my she had adopted me as her son. She was my adopted mother. We call him Amma. Amma means mother. So she suggested, and in fact she forced me that you can go and join your duty, but let the children and your wife. My wife's name was Tara. TARA. So let them be with us, and I will take the Prasad to some of the doctors or some of the Ayurvedic medicines. Will try some Ayurvedic medicines, but let them stay with me. And I did that. My wife and the children stayed with Thades at Thades place in Pune, and under the care of Amma. And then I joined my duties in Mumbai. I had purchased a monthly pass. I often used to come and go and come and go. Once it so happened that they had contacted some Vaidya, some person who used to give Ayurvedic medicines. And he had given something, some ointment to be applied on that wound. And when Amma and my wife and Prashant, they brought Prashant at home, they wiped off the wound and just applied that powder on his legs. And within a second, the boy got up and started running from this corner to that corner, that corner to that. Very, very desperately, he was crying and weeping and just crying that I am not able to bear this. Oh God, what sin I had committed? What sin I had committed, but I have to suffer so much. And third is younger brother. He came when he heard that the boy is shouting. He came in that room and he saw that boy running here and there. He made him sit there. He wiped off the whole medicine, put some cold cloth, wet cloth on his wound, and then took that medicine and threw it in the gutter. He said, what type of medicine you have brought? The child is just simply shouting with pain. Another thing very strange thing which I would like to tell you is that this was during Baba, when Baba was still in body. It must have been sometime in 1967, 68. I was so very frustrated. My wife was really, we had lost all hopes. We had lost all hopes for that leg to get cured. And I was really frustrated. And in that frustration, I wrote down a long letter, in spite of the fact that Baba had issued strict instructions that he in a very strict seclusion and nobody should write to Baba, nobody should try to see Baba, nobody should come to Mirazad. All these instructions Baba had issued. In spite of that, I could not think sensibly and just wrote down a long letter describing the whole situation through which I was passing through, or my family was passing through. My wife was also really, she had very helplessly trying to do several things, but we were just had become helpless. And I used to feel as though he is only about 4 or 5 years old, and what about his whole life? If he has to pass the life in such a condition, my God, how can we bear that? That was in that mood I had written that letter. I completed that letter, put my name there. I folded it. I put it in a postal cover without closing it with gum. I kept it in a worship place where we have worship place like this. I placed it there. I folded my hands and recited Parvadiga prayer, repentance prayer, Aarti. And when I was praying, I was reciting the prayer, very strange thoughts came to my mind. The strongest thought was, what you take Baba to be, if you take him to be God, does not he know under what circumstances you are passing through? He is omniscient. He knows everything. So where is the necessity for you to write him separate letter? And this was a very strong thought came in my mind. Surprisingly, after I completed my prayers, I simply pasted that letter, but I didn't post it. It was lying there on that worship place. Thereafter, we all forget about that letter, about everything. We all forget about everything. But one surprising thing, which I find recently, I was feeling that letter must have been somewhere in my records. I had a lot of records, lot of books, lot of letters, and all that. So that is in Mumbai. So my son Swarup is in Mumbai. I told him lately that you bring all that correspondence and all that letters to me. I just want to go through all that, and which are not, I mean, that's very important. I want to tear them off. He brought all those letters. Surprisingly, I could not find that letter. I don't claim that some miraculous thing must have happened. I don't claim that. It may be lying there somewhere, or how it has disappeared. It is beyond my even imagination. I cannot imagine how it has disappeared. But I could not find that letter. That is true. I told yesterday only, I told my son that have you brought all the letters? He said, yes, all the letters I have brought. And I told him that that letter which I was sent for, it was not there. Nobody knows. I had asked then my wife whether she had taken that letter. I asked my children also, but nobody had bothered to bother about the letters, because it was my business with Meher Baba, and nobody had touched that letter. But it had disappeared. Some miracle. I mean, very, what should I say? Somehow it was disappeared. After few months, now this is really a very strange happening. After a few months in Mumbai, we were staying in a chal. A chal means houses which has a common veranda. That veranda is used commonly by all those residents of that building. And that was a 4-storied building. It is still there. It is a 4-storied building. There is no lift. One has to climb four staircases to reach, and we were on the top floor. And I still have that room. It is one room kitchen. That room is not very big. The whole area must be about 280 or 85 square feet. About 200 to 80 or 85 square feet. Within that, there was a can be called as a hall, then kitchen, and then bathroom and toilet. They were common. Common in the sense That one side was a bathroom, other side it was toilet, but the door is common. So if one has to use one, he has to close the whole door, full door. That is the situation. Now this boy, he used to sit in the outer room in a corner. There was a small chair for him. He will sit in a corner quietly reading something or the other. Even if something is lying there, some old newspapers, he will just pick up and unless he reads it, he will not throw it away. His two legs will be covered with some cloth. One afternoon, a stranger came to our house. I think, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, very clearly. We can hear you very
Yes.
clearly. Yes.
So on one afternoon, I had gone to office. As I had told earlier, every day when I returned home, I had that heavy heart, a pressure on my heart as to what will be the situation I will be facing with every day. That day I was in the office. In the afternoon, a stranger came climbing all the 4 staircases, and close to our next door neighbor was one old couple, aged couple by name Kulkarni. And that day, they were next door. That day, their house was locked because that woman had told my wife that they both are going for some marriage or some function and they will return late. It was always a habit, always a sort of a practice that all these neighbors, they take interest in everybody's household matters. And like that woman had told my wife that we are going there. So, and she was there in the house. My daughter was in the house. Daughter was quite young enough. And then my wife's sister was there. One person, a stranger came. He stood in front of that door of our neighbor. He saw the lock and then he peeped in. My wife came out and he asked her, where is Ms. Kulkarni? Their house is locked. And my wife told them that they have gone for some function and they are not likely to return until evening. And that person, he was a middle-aged person. He had climbed up and he was heavily breathing, not like a sick person, but after climbing up so many steps, he was standing and just taking a little bit of rest. My wife called him and said that you can sit inside. She placed a chair for him in the house, and he sat on that chair. She offered him water, and she asked him whether he would like to have a tea. I do not know whether he was. Yes, he was offered tea, and yes, I would like to have. And my wife, whatever that water was to be boiled, and she was preparing for that and coming out and talking with him. It was only one door, so coming out and talking with him. Now that man was watching this boy sitting in a corner. and his legs. That time, that boy had removed that cloth, and that whole wounds were visible. And that man looks at it, and he asked my wife, how long this child is suffering from this? She said, right from the age of about two years, he had caught up this disease, a very strange disease. And that man says, you must have tried several medicines. My wife said, yes, we have not left any stone unturned. We have tried allopathic medicines. We have tried homeopathic medicines. We have tried Ayurvedic medicines. We have tried these herbal medicines, Unani medicines, and whatnot. And even some other whatever is suggested by people, we have been doing that. But there is no effect whatsoever, no relief whatsoever we are having. And very lovingly, that person said, I just suggest, I don't guarantee you because I'm not a person to give a guarantee, but I just suggest that I will give you one address. That person, if you write to that person, he was a Ayurvedic doctor. He gave that address to my wife, and he said that you tell your husband, write to them all about that, all about this, the disease that the boy is having, and give your address, of course. Those people, after they receive your letter, those people will prepare medicine and they will send you by post. You can get that post by paying whatever amount is there. And there will be a pamphlet. On the basis of, you can read that pamphlet. It will be in Hindi and English also. You can read that, and then accordingly you can start the treatment. When I came in the evening, my wife told the whole story to me. I took that address. I immediately wrote a letter to that person, and within 3-4 days time, I received a parcel, and with medicines for about 1.5 months, 1 month, 1.5 months. Only two types of medicine were there with a pamphlet. There were some small pills, actually like betel nut, even smaller than that. These were some Ayurvedic tablets. We had to give three times. We had to give 3 times with water. And there was one ointment, very peculiar ointment. It was very thick and black and oily ointment. We used tar rods. The material which is used in the tar rods, it was similar to that. There were instructions for how to apply it with a brush or with some cloth. You can dip in with that medicine and apply the whole medicine, the medicine on the entire wound on both the legs. Apply the medicine. It was quite sufficient medicine they have sent. You can apply that medicine. Then put a bandage of cloth put a bandage of cloth and wrapped it thereafter. That bandage of cloth should touch the wound, touch the leg and wound. And thereafter, you can wrap the whole thing with another bandage on both the legs and keep it. If you want to give birth to that child, you remove those bandages, both the bandages, but the bandage which is touching the skin, you should never change it. You can time for the timing, you can take it out, keep aside. You can give birth to that child, and thereafter use the same bandage on those wounds as you had already done. Same bandage is to be used again, and of course the outer bandage, outer wrapper, that you can change. That you can change any number of times, but not the inner one. Very strictly we followed that, and believe me, within a span of 1 month, we started feeling the change. We started feeling the change in the thickness of the wound. So if the wound is up to here, this portion will started getting cleared toward the central place. From here, it started getting clear toward the central place. From all sides, from the outer circumference, it started getting cleared. And within about, I had just called the medicine for twice only. Say 1.5 months, the whole wounds had vanished because the medicines he had taken in his stomach, the small tablets, all that on his cheeks or on his body had become very sensitive. That problems had vanished, and the boy became quite good, wealthy, playful, and all that. When the neighbors returned in the evening, my wife told them that one guest had come to you, one person had come to you, and she was inquiring about you. I told them that you are not likely to return home till evening. So he sat for some time and then he went away. And that Kulkarni, the man, he asked, have you taken down the name of that person? Yes, he has told his name. His name, he had told his name as Thakur. Very significant name. He had told his name as Thakur. And both wife and husband were surprised. They tried to exert their memory. They said, sorry, but we don't know anybody by name Thakur. In fact, there is nobody in our contact by that name. Kulkarni also said that in my office also, there is no person by name Thakur. In the registration, there is no person by name Thakur. And then my wife started thinking of otherwise. And I also felt strongly that this is the help which had come from Baba. That was the indication Baba had given that I know everything. You need not take the trouble of writing all these things. My nazar is there. and I have provided the timely help. This is all my imagination, our imagination. There is very strange thing about this name Thakur. In Thakur name is very much common in Gujarat area. Mira used to call Krishna as Thakur. There is one incident in Baba's traveling time also. Baba along with the lady Mandali, they had stayed in one bungalow, and the Mali of that bungalow, the gardener of that bungalow, was a very pious person, very, honest person, praying God morning and night, taking God's name morning and night. And Baba had sent Govar to inquire with him whether he needs everything. When Govar went to him, to that Mali, this is about Mera Baba, I am telling you. When Govar went to him and told him that whether you need everything, that Mali said, no, I don't need it because Thakur gives me everything. Again, after some time, Baba said again and inquired whether he needs everything. The same answer came from him that Thakur fulfills everything, fulfill every need of mine. Now, Govar and other ladies, they were thinking that Thakur must be the name of that owner of that bungalow. That is what they said. That was they thought. Then Baba explained to him, no, Thakur name is not the name of the bungalow. The the gardener is referring to Lord Krishna, because Krishna is known by the name of Thakur. Here we had been confronted with a Thakur. Now it is everybody's imagination. As far as I am concerned, I don't take it as a chamatkar. I don't take it as a miracle. It is a help, direct help, but any such a help, Baba does not use his own person. He has innumerable mediums through which he can help his dear ones. He can reach his dear ones, he can help his dear ones. I'll give you one beautiful example, old-time example. In Pune, when the Baba activities had been started, and every person, all the programs used to take place in the hostel area where Mr. Thade was the superintendent. He had a big quarter. The hall was very big. The veranda was very big. And often Baba Loves used to come and talk about Baba. It was a sort of the talk of the town, as we say. That time was the talk of Meher Baba only. And one afternoon, Mr. Thade, L.B. Thade, senior one from that family, Mr. Ramchandra Gaikwad, Paras Madhusun, also Narayan Bandalu, a few were there. They were sitting in the veranda talking about Meher Baba. And one old man with we call it dhongodi. Dhongodi is a coarse blanket, I may say. Not a very finely woven, but a very coarse. By the by, accidentally, there was some topic about Sufis here in the same sessions of some section. There was some talk about these Sufis. According to somewhere I have read that Suf means a coarse cloth. Muhammad Paigambar's followers, they had different ways of life. Some went into a luxurious life, and some went into a life of sannyasi, like one who has renounced everything. Those people, they used to wear these coarse blankets, which is called suf, and that is the reason why they were called Sufis. This is the information I'm giving you because I read it somewhere in some book. Now coming to our story, these people were talking about Baba, and that person came with that gongri on his body, and one, what do you call, calf? Staff, a big one. It was in his hand. His beard was there, his long hair, like a sadhu, and clothes also of ochre color. And he came there and stood there where these boys were sitting, and they inquired. They took it for a respectable person, and they made him sit there. He sat there, and they asked him whether they can offer him food. That person said, "No, I don't take cooked food. If at all you want to give me, you give me raw
grains.
Yes, raw food, say, food items. You can give me that." And that very lovingly they gave. Thereafter he stood up. He sat there for quite some time. Thereafter he stood up and uttered a very strange words. What he uttered was, "I have seen your children. They are quite happy. They are doing well. They are quite happy. I have seen his children." And thereafter, with these words, he left. Now these boys were wondering, what does that mean? When he says, "I have seen your children and they are all right." So Thadai very enthusiastically went to Dr. Ghani, and he narrated the whole. I was not in that group. When Thadai went to Dr. Ghani and narrated the whole incident, Dr. Ghani thought for a while and said, "Yes, such people, they are called Abdals. Abdals. And they are there. When avatars come in this earth, such souls, they look forward to help avatar in whatever way they can." This is one thing. One another incident, I would take little 10 minutes more now. One another incident of interest is when Baba was traveling in new lifetime. Ganesh, can I have 10 minutes more?
Yes. You have a lot of time. No worries. Yeah, good.
So when Baba was traveling, Baba came to Dehradun, and Baba was sitting in a railway waiting room. And there were Mandali with Baba, about 20 Mandali with Baba. And that time, Shatrugna Kumar, who knew very little about Mero Baba then, he also had come to see Baba. Perhaps what is the name of Anjar's father?
Keki Narawala.
Keki Narawala and Keki Desai also. They must also.
Keki Desai is Delhi.
So
in Ernakulam, Dehradun.
Yes, thank you so much. Baba wanted to have food, and Baba asked Shatrughan Kumar whether he will be able to provide cooked food for all these mandali who were accompanying Baba, who were present there in Baba. And Kumar said, yes, Baba, you have to give me a little time. I will go home and bring food for you, for all of you. And Baba approved. Then he drove. Baba gave him 1 hour. His place, his residence was little far from that place, but he had a motorbike. He drove fast. He reached home. He asked his wife to hurry up to prepare, cook food for about 20, 25 people. And he was just after his wife. You always take so much of time. You're not very careful about time and careless about the time and all that. He was abusing her. He was harassing her. And in that harassment, he slapped her once. But then somehow she managed to cook food for so many people. And he packed up that food and returned back to the railway station where Baba was sitting in a waiting room. And Baba was very happy. He placed the big deck of food in front of Baba, and Baba opened it. Baba took a big spoon and started distributing very lavishly all those who were sitting there. One by one, people are coming, having their share. Baba was not, miserly in giving them food. He was giving them with full heart. And then Kumar, who was sitting there watching all these things, he started feeling uneasy. He started feeling uneasy the way Baba was distributing food lavishly to all these people, and there are about 25 people. So whether that food will be sufficient for all these people. And he was really very much upset, very much nervous. He was within his heart, just keep restless. And after the food was served to the gents, the deck was sent to the ladies' side. And there Kumar said, now this is the most humiliating time for me now. But then after some time, the ladies had taken full food, and the deck was sent back. And very curiously, Kumar looked into that vessel. He personally told us that still there, after distributing food very lavishly to all these people, still then some amount was still there in a corner. How that happened, Kumar was wondering. He was not a non-believer of God. How that happened? After years, when Baba was in Satara, Kumar was staying with Satara with Baba. At times, Aluba and Kumar in turn, they used to take Baba from Grafton to Rosewood, and then back to Grafton to back to. There were four times they had to move. In the morning, Baba will start going towards Rosewood. He will spend time up to 10:30. Thereafter, he will return to Grafton for food. He will take his food, spend some time with the ladies, and then again come in the afternoon in Rosewood to spend time with the men mandali. And in the evening, he will be again taken back to Grafter for night rest. This was the program, everyday program for Baba. Once when Kumar was there accompanying Baba to Rosewood, Kumar, they stopped there, and Baba reminded Kumar of his olden days in a jail. He was put in jail, and there was talk about that. I won't take up that for today's narration. But then Kumar then asked Baba, I still wonder, the food which you asked me to bring, I had brought food as much I could. But then I saw the mandali and I saw you serving the food very lavishly to so many people. I was losing my courage and losing my heart. But how this food can be sufficient for the people? But then when that deck had come back from the lady's side, it was still having little food. I'm really don't understand until this time how that could happen. Because you said you'd never perform miracle. And it looks like a miracle. For us, we don't see anything other than miracle. Baba explained. He explained to Baba's explanation, already beautiful explanations. Baba said, when avatar comes on this earth, there are such souls which are always waiting around Baba to fulfill any shortage, any shortcoming, which avatar is likely to get. Even without the knowledge of the avatar, they will fulfill that. They will fulfill that. And Baba has explained this. I have that always. Always those souls are looking for helping me. When I think about our story, that Prashant having that problem, when I think of that, I always remember these two stories. Now that it is for you people to imagine what it can be. Nobody can have a definite answer for that. It is only Baba knows, Baba Jane. Now, if anybody has any questions, any queries, any doubts, they are free to ask.
Matt had one. So Matt, you can unmute yourself and ask. Matt.
Jai Baba Pratap. Can you hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Pratap, I was wondering what you say about Baba shedding his blood, the significance of it, and how can we share that meaning with non-Baba lovers?
He means how can we share that significance of that accident with non-Baba lovers?
When Baba started from, you see, every time when we visit Satara, for new people, we narrate the whole thing. When they started from, Baba had asked his mandali on that particular day to observe fast on without water, even without water, not to take anything. And to pass time, because if he remain in Satara, they will feel that they will feel thirsty, or they will feel hungry, and their mind will be just flimsy mind. Just to make that mind steady, Baba said that let's go to Pune. We will spend time the whole afternoon there, and we'll watch a cricket match, and then by evening time we'll come back, so that you may not, keep remembering about that fast. But when Baba started from Satara, Kekobad, who was living with Baba in Dhoni, he warned Baba. Baba, today is a solar eclipse. It is a bad day for traveling. No wise man, Indian man, will dare to travel today. So it is better that you don't go to Pune. Baba just shut from his say, and Baba said that what has happened, what has to happen will happen. What is determined to happen, it will happen. But my program will not change. That was Baba said. Now, just one thing, that Baba had been given that warning. Now, leave aside for some time Baba's omniscience and Baba's godhood. But as an ordinary person also, Baba knew that something is going to happen. Now the car was passing towards Pune. From that village, the same village, a Parsi priest came across the car. He was walking. He wanted to cross the road. And Meriji, who was driving Baba, he said, Baba, this Parsi is crossing the road before the car. That is a definite symptom of death, somebody's death. Even Baba ignored that, and they proceeded further. When they were on the outskirts of Pune, Chou En-lai, who was the president of China, prime minister of China, Chou En-lai, there was his visit to Pune, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Chou En-lai, they were going in procession together. They were together going in procession. People had gathered to see them. And Dr. Nilu, Baba's car was not, there was much, very big rush there on the roads. Dr. Nilu wanted to see that. Baba was not happy about it, but then on Nilu's insistence, Baba allowed him. Now you can go and immediately come back. Nilu went there. He was happy to see Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Chou En-lai walking, going on the road. People are watching them. And then he came to Baba. Thereafter, they went to watch the match. And in the match also, Baba's mood had been disturbed because of some people of our own people, Baba lovers. They had come there just to see Baba. Baba didn't want that. Baba had not want that. Baba didn't wanted that then. But then two people were there. They had come and Baba scolded them. But then Baba's mood was determined. Baba left that match and came to his house. He asked for the marbles, and he took a marble and hit it so very hard that the other marble to which it was hit broke into pieces. And immediately after that, they all started towards Satara. all these make a definite symptoms that something unusual is going to happen, which only Baba knows. He had changed his seats with Nilkant, Dr. Nilu. And earlier to all these, Baba had said that the coming time is very hard for me and my lovers, my Mandali people. I will have to lose couple of my Mandali members. This all was there. So Baba fully knew what is going to happen. The beauty of the avatar is that in spite of what is coming before him, what his body has to face, still for the sake of humanity, when he has to drop his blood, he takes upon that, he takes some of that calamity on himself. This has happened in America, this has happened in Satara. Knowing all these things, now some people say that why Baba could have avoided that. To that, Baba had given an answer: I am the last person to change the destiny. I am the last, because it is I who has created. And if I violate that, has no meaning. So this was definitely part of Baba's avataric work. And when Baba was doing his avataric work, anything, he didn't care for anything else. His whole focus used to be on that work. He was careless about his mandali also. In New Life, there are several such incidents when, in spite of the fact that some of the mandal were very sick, even then, Baba's work never stopped, because he had come to complete that work, the mission, within a stipulated time. So this is the answer to, I do not know whether, I think it's the Jeff. Anyway, so this is the answer to all your queries. This is answer we had gained from only reading books. We are not, just master of that knowledge which Baba had.
Thank
Yes,
you,
please.
Pratap. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Any more question?
Anybody else? Any more questions? No. I think no questions.
Thank you.
So we can thank you so much for the beautiful session. Thank you, Pratap uncle, for taking us back. And really, it's so valuable and beneficial to all of us. Now everybody can unmute themselves, and we will say 3 times Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai and close this session. Okay. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher
Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba. Love you.
Yes.
Thank you, Pratap Ji. As usual, very inspiring, very loving moments that you recount with your life and love with Baba. So appreciate these moments. Thank you.
Yeah, Baba, thank you so much.
It's Farishta. Also, this reminded me your story with your the visitor who was there just in time to do Baba's work for you reminded me of an incident in my life when my parents were in Iran under very difficult conditions. And it's a long, long story, but through some miracle, really, things just kind of resolved themselves, and for that day. And then shortly thereafter, some sadhu, somebody came to the door and asked for alms. And and I knew in my heart, I knew that was somebody Baba had sent, or some, Baba's aid, whatever it was, but I just felt it. But Pratap, I hope Baba forgives me, because I was so scared at that time because of the conditions that were happening. I did not open the door. I was just so scared. I thought maybe this too is a ploy of those people, but I know Baba in his grand mercy understood my heart and forgave. But the fact is that he came to the door and let me know that I was being protected.
Oh, such a nice, very nice time, nice moments in your life.
Very nice moments, yeah. From terror to to mercy, God's compassion. That's how we know He's there with us.
Yes, always, always. Not a moment is left in our lives without Him.
I know. He has saved me a few times.
Yeah.
Jai Baba, dearest.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Thank you.